Shalom. Call hello Yahweh Bashem Shai. Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth that be like unto the speckled bird. To you I say Shalom, the Israelite foreigners. And to the Yakwaf that are listening and learning. To you, I also say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson. And I watched two videos as my pre-workout snack this morning. And I let two videos play in the background. And these videos, I just heard the hypocrisy and the fear on Esau, Edom, as Babylon is falling, as they're being called on their wickedness. And they just, especially this first video that I'm about to play, the micro racial aggressions that comes from this woman, the more that I've listened to her. You know, that underlying Karen mentality that's hiding, but inside of her, behind her words, as she tries to speak as if she cares about all the people. You have to remember when that starts, it's just like when crowds if games start cheering USA, USA. That's really code for Edomites, for white people. In all honesty, it is. Especially when in during that event that there's a people of color on the field or of another nation of color playing against their teams. All right, that make America great again is the time when police could beat you, do whatever they wanted to you, look the other way as you're being lynched, be in the crowd as you're being lynched, as they were. The judges, the teachers, you got to remember, they let out church and let out school early, and whole towns would come down to watch a lynching and bring their wives and their children. All right, the police was there. So as she's trying to defend the morale of the police, the reason the morale of the police is under scrutiny, that people don't want to be cops and all the other stuff that's happening, is because all their wickedness is catching up to them. They're being exposed. They're not the good guys. They're here to protect the very people that she's complaining about. She's complaining about the 2%. This was never for the people. All right? The police force was put in place for two reasons. One, to oppress the children of Israel, especially Judah, and to protect the assets of the elites. All right? And now you other Edomites, you really don't matter anymore. All right? Because now it's time for the elites to move on, and they want to enslave you just as much as they want to enslave Israel. Because there's no room for you at the top and there in this thing, in this aristocratic society that they have formed for themselves. But let me let you know that the true aristocrats are the Israelites. And their power is about to set them on high.
I was once told if we're not careful, 2% of the passionate will control 98% of the indifferent 100% of the time. The more I've thought about this phrase, the more I believe it. There is now a small group of passionate people working hard to destroy our American way of life. Treason and treachery are rampant, and our rule of law and those law enforcement professionals who uphold our laws are under the gun more than at any time in our nation's history. These passionate 2% appear to be winning, despite there being countless good people trying to come to grips with everything else on their plates. Our silent majority, the indifferent, can no longer be silent. If the United States wants to survive the onslaught of socialism, if we're to continue to enjoy self-government and the liberty of our hard-fought freedoms, we have to understand there are two opposing forces. One is the children of light, and the other is the children of darkness. As I
see, what she doesn't understand is she is a part of the children of darkness. And that silent majority, all right, set back for 100 years and watch Jacob get lynched, get beat, get mistreated, watch crooked and unfair and unjust laws be put into place. All right. Matter of fact, let me grab a quick scripture, because I was going to let these two short videos, well, this video is about 10 minutes long, and the other one is like less than 3 minutes long, and I wasn't going to play the whole of either of the videos, but just to get the point. All right. But these people are sighing and crying. But what they don't understand, it's prophesied that their kingdom would fall. And the children of light are the Israelites, the men of the Lord who are on the highways and byways, giving you the facts, but also giving you the understanding of how these facts tie into the scriptures. Because as I was watching a video with the beloved elder Yashawamba the other day, and he said something to the effect that there are a lot of people out there with truth. All right, a lot of people giving you truth, but the difference is that we as the men of the Lord can tie these truths in with the prophecies, something that no one else can do. But this is Isaiah 10:1, and it says, "Warn to them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievousness which they have prescribed." All right, so they've set back and allowed and watched unrighteous decrees that were destructive to the community of Jacob, to the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, especially to Judah, because they understand that part of the prophecy. They understand that Judah is the head tribe, and Judah had to be suppressed the hardest, and they was. All right? Because they understood that if Judah woke up, then Ephraim would wake up, and then the rest of the tribes would wake up. It was prophesied, all right, that the northern kingdom would come back together again with the awakening of the kingdom of Judah. They're aware of this, and they've benefited from this. You know, redlining, the Housing Acts, Jim Crow laws, all these things that they put into place to allow themselves to stay on top. And see, but now, you know, the so-called middle class, the Leave It to Beaver class, they're no longer living as such. And now they have a problem with the elites. That's why they're going after this general here. This is General Flynn. All right? As if he's innocent. You can only imagine how much blood is on his hands. All right? But let's go to the next video.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought about your blood flow? Redwood uses just a few simple, completely natural ingredients to increase your body's nitric oxide production.
That's a good product, by the way.
One of our so-called allies has apparently jumped ship on us. And they're not happy about what we just did, or should I say what President Trump just did. And this leader has called out the U.S. in a way that's pretty damning. And we're going to get into all that, who said what and what it means and how we're going to deal with it going forward. My name is Dave Hodges. I am the host of The Common Sense Show. We are the show that is freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. And we're brought to you by C60. Mental clarity, immune system support. Screw this off, paste a little bit on, just no fuss, no muss, really simple, tastes great. And it boosts your immune system like no one's business. 172 times the daily minimum part of vitamin C. You also get antioxidants involved.
Now see, something as simple as that. C60, 170 times, you say, of the daily allowance of vitamin C. But see, had his people had not destroyed the food supply, we wouldn't need to buy supplements. You know how much money that I spend on supplements so my body could function, try to function. But all these ingredients were once in our food. But these people thought that they can make food better. This is Revelation 11 and 18. And it reads, "And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged. And thou shouldest reward unto the servants of the prophets, unto the servants of thy prophets, and to the saints," because the prophets are the saints are the same, and the saints are the same, "and them that fear the name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth." See, his people destroyed the earth. They don't follow the land Sabbath. The food supply is weak. The food does not give forth the nutrients that's in it. This is why men and women's bodies are not functioning the way they're supposed to. While we're so as human beings full of disease, right? While we're so susceptible to catching illnesses. While both men and women have health issues that they didn't have in the past, on a scale that they didn't have in the past. There's always been health issues, but they'll talk about how medicine is better. Now that's a lie. Food was so much better, you didn't need medicine. And so now just go to the grocery store and look at the aisle with all the supplements in it. The fact that it's there is evidence of this scripture. They've destroyed the food to the point where you're in a grocery store and they have a whole aisle dedicated to the nutrients that you're supposed to get from the food you're buying. This man truly needs to be done away with.
As well too. It's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, I want to get into the story here because you can get that product at the link. Oh, by the way, it's only a 24-hour sale, and you can take 10% off because you're buying from the lab. But like I said, supplies last. When it's gone, it's gone. 24-hour sale's over. All right, Merkel said the U.S. is no longer a world power. That's right, no longer a world power. Well, I think the reason she said it's very self-serving. The U.S. is saying, oh, you don't want to pay your fair share for NATO? You want to keep putting us down and criticizing the way I run my government?
You see, what hypocrites, man. What hypocrites. See, what you're witnessing is the nations are beginning to hate the whore because they did drink of her wine. All right? How many times they're talking about you want to pay your fair share of NATO? How many times has America put sanctions on NATO countries and EU countries? Put sanctions on their business partners, which has hurt them. And then Trump came with this America first. He didn't care that a nation had deals going on with other nations, and then you throw sanctions on those nations, and now they can't do business with them, which was hurting their economies. You know, the scripture clearly says, do unto others as thou, if you would have them do unto you. And now America's getting a taste of his own medicine. It just don't like it.
Trump said, you 10,000 troops, come on home. We got something for you to do. And she is really upset. And she said, we got to deal with the fact the U.S. is no longer a world power. No, the U.S. is no longer your piggy bank, Merkel. Figure out your defense.
Now, now you want to talk your piggy bank. Well, it's funny. You will never hear America say anything about the Israelis. Nothing at all. Him looking off to the side. Like he can hear me, huh? That whole doo-doo-doo, when you start bringing up issues that they don't want to be brought up. We're talking about the biggest welfare state. America could probably actually get out of debt and fix itself if it just stopped giving money to the Israelis. For the past, I don't know how many years, all right, on an average of 10 billion a year. Because it was 6 billion plus defense, plus other stuff. So that's on average. So that's the biggest, that's where all your welfare is going to. You know, Edomites love to get on TV. They love to put on their news when they start talking about welfare recipients. They always show you some fat black or no hair having, no teeth having Judite chick with her 7 baby daddies, which that shouldn't be. But nevertheless, truth be said, that it's his kind that make up the majority of people that are on welfare in America. Yeah. That's their own statistics will show you that. So-called white people have always made up the majority of the people on welfare, but you would never know it looking at the news. The news is put in place to drag the name and the face of Israel through the dirt, just like with this COVID thing. This was an Edomite invented device, disease, biochemical. Especially they got you wearing masks because disease don't go airborne. All right. Viruses are transmitted by touch, by direct contact. I have to come in direct contact with your skin, with your saliva, with bodily fluids and things of that nature. Not just because you walk by and you walk by me, all right, and all of a sudden I'm sick too. That's not a virus. That's something else. Viruses don't work like that. All right, and then they were screaming all winter long that this would die in the summer. Viruses can't survive in temperatures over 83 degrees. The human body is on average 90, 97, 98 degrees on average 24/7, 365. So a virus can't live in you for long. It's either going to destroy you or your body's going to kill it. In most cases, your body defeats any virus and kills it in most cases. All right? So these people are just liars, man. With that pseudoscience. As a matter of fact, let me get that, because this video has went completely sideways from what it was supposed to be. All right? I'm just rolling in the spirit now. But this is 1 Timothy 6:20. It's like this scripture can't help but come out every week. It says, "O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, and avoid profane and vain babblings of oppositions of science falsely called." So they got this pseudoscience that they're using to rule over that silent majority that the other lady was talking about. And by the way, she turned the comments off on that video too, trying to defend all those crooked, murderous police. You know, now that everything's going sideways for them. Yeah, it's crazy how the spirit takes over, because this video was supposed to go in a completely different direction. I had a whole list of scriptures that I was going to bring out.
Russia's getting aggressive on its border. That's right. And we know you were mad because Trump singled out Poland for being an ideal state.
So how stupid is that? So now, if Russia is getting aggressive on Germany's border, and Russia hates America, and Germany hates America, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. See, all these nations are this is, you know what? Let them play a little bit more, man. I'm going to get into these scriptures.
Good for family, good for government, good financial judgment. He didn't say anything about you, did he? No, he didn't. So, ladies and gentlemen, why is Merkel...
And then, oh, man, who is Trump to talk about anything financially? How many times did he go bankrupt? And it was a crooked system that got him out of it. People he knew, people he was connected to. Nothing he did on his own. So stop with that bullshit lie. Right? Complete and corrupt system, man.
Upset? Well, that's really simple. She's upset because we're making her pay her fair share. We're still a world power. That's it for the Common Sense Show.
We're still a world power. You know, who are you trying to convince? Merkel or yourself? All right, this is Jeremiah 51, and it reads, Thus saith Yahweh power, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land for the day of trouble, that they shall be against her round about. And that is what is about to happen. World War III is advancing closer and closer every day, while they're using the cloak of COVID to cover it up, because they're not reporting anything. It's just like all people die by the thousands all day long, every day around the world, man. And around the world, millions. By the thousands in America, every day they die. They were dying last year, the year before that, the decade before that, 2 decades before that, by the thousands every day. And now all of a sudden, every death is only COVID, damn near. This is ridiculous. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. And against him that lifteth himself up, his brigadine, and spare ye not your young men. Destroy ye utterly all her host. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah, or his power. And Yahweh of hosts, though their land be filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. See, so, hey, look, Jacob's going to, the elect of Jacob is going to be saved out of this. Those first fruits. All right? Let me see if I can grab a quick scripture. Just popped into my head. Let me just peek at it first before I call on it, because it may not be. Right, this is James 1:18. Of his own will begot he us with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. So the elect of Israel, the first fruits, all right, that were there in the beginning with Yahushua doing the creation. That goes over a lot of your heads. Verse 6, back in Jeremiah 51. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquities, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. All right, so look, the Lord is about to strike at this place and bring it down, man, and wipe it off the face of the earth. And he's going to deliver his elect out of here. But before that happens, bad times are coming. But as an Israelite, you should be, if you're trying to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, calling on the name of the Lord, watching the videos, trying to do your best to keep the high holy days, not eating the pork, the lobster, the shrimp, smoking blunts, committing adultery, worshiping these wicked holidays, constantly in prayer. If you're a woman, being obedient to your man, not back talking and giving him a hard time, or jumping up on the internet because Esau is giving you freedom to try to out teach the men of the Lord when the Lord didn't set up women like that in that matter.